There we go.
Hopefully we are live and back.
We're back. Back with a bang, hopefully.
Back where we belong.
Back where we belong.
How you doing, guys? Good evening. Hope everyone's had a great weekend. Just quickly looking through some of the comments here. I just see you just made sure Rano's...
I messaged him to say,
watching.
We're going live, and he sent me a photo of his TV with us sort of on the screen ready to go.
Good stuff. How is everybody? Lots of talk about Dimitar's deadlift. Did you see this?
Yeah, I heard about it and I didn't catch it. I haven't seen it.
Dimitar Savatinov, from out of nowhere, goes and breaks the American deadlift world record. American record.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy.
That is crazy.
Dimitar is an absolute beast. For those of you that kind of know who Dimitar is, power-wise, he is unbelievable. He's always been great overhead. He's done incredible numbers in powerlifting competitions, and he just kind of rocks up at this American Deadlift World Championships and breaks the record.
Good for him.
Congratulations to Dimitar. I have noticed he has not entered OSG this year.
Looking at the events, I'm not surprised.
Nor am I.
No.
I kind of thought that when I saw the events, and, you know, people talk about strongman, and, you know, you have to understand where your strengths and weaknesses are sometimes.
It's not a good
competition for Dimitar, but power-wise, like a couple of years ago, he did a full powerlifting meet, and he's a hell of a squatter.
What exactly did he lift on the deadlift? Can you remember?
It was about 467.5 kilos. So whatever that is in pounds.
Rano, you need to up the old
well, Rano's ahead still.
Masters deadlift record.
But that's getting close. Yeah. I will say Rano's lifts are much smoother. Dimitar is not a technical expert, but he is just raw power. There we go. There's the record. So I was right in kilos. Go up.
Oh.
467.5.
Yeah.
1,031 pounds.
Let's see who's in the house. We've got Elizabeth's here. Paris is here. Chris. The whole gang. Nicholas, I've certainly missed this. Last live, Loz said they'd try and do it every week, and then 3 weeks, no live.
I'm sorry, guys.
Loz is a jinx, a big jinx. Steve, thank you so much for the super chat. I hope you two had a lovely couple of weeks off, but please never leave us again. Sorry about that,
Thank you very
guys.
much, Steve.
We are back, though.
We are. We might not be live next Sunday, just because we're going to be at next weekend. We're at Britain's Strongest Woman on the Saturday and England's Strongest Man on the Sunday.
Yeah, it's a day show, but we've still got to get back from Doncaster, haven't we?
If we can get back in time, we'll try and do a live. Otherwise, maybe we'll do a live Monday night.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot going on next weekend.
There is. It's a really busy weekend, but hopefully it's going to be a fun one. Nicola's here. I've missed everyone so much. We're sorry. I guess we kept you all away from each other as well. Yeah. There was nowhere to congregate if we're not putting out any videos. Adam, thank you for the super chat. Will you guys be at the Rogue Invitational this year? Yes, we will. And if so, what's the least awkward way for me to ask for a photo? Oh, bless you. Honestly, just ask.
Just ask. Often you'll see me rushing about at the Rogue Invitational because I've got to get to the kind of booth,
like your booth,
which is kind of like at the top of the building. So sometimes you see me come, but you'll be a bit more leisurely paced.
Oh, I'm very leisurely paced at the road, yeah. And in those sorts of situations, like we sort of expect it, don't we? Yeah. So
if anyone ever wants a photo of us, it's not. But we did have a weird one today, didn't we?
In Asda.
Yeah.
When we're trying to picture the scene. We've got 3 children with us, a trolley full of shopping, and we're loading the bout. God, I hope they're not watching. And someone's like, "Oh, Laurence, can I have a photo of you?" And the woman's already got the camera out and everything. So Loz is like, "Okay," like the handfuls of shopping. But still did it. Still wouldn't make that person feel.
I always try and make people feel comfortable. Sometimes it's nice when people can see you're sort of busy and they just give you a moment to settle yourself, or just a nice, friendly kind of
acknowledgement. Yeah. I
was in the petrol station earlier, and this guy, never seen him in my life. He just looks at me and goes, "You're ready, Breck, don't you?" And I was like, "Oh, I must be looking pretty hench right now.
There you go.
Training must be paying off."
You always look hench. There we go. A few people confirming. Just ask. They're very friendly. Fred is probably the only person who's had a bad experience asking me for a photo, but that was very much a misunderstanding. I would never, ever knowingly be rude to someone like that. Autumn Dan, hello. Jim will break it. Hello. Hip flipping mamas here, Kelly.
Lots of our members in the house. Good to see you all. lots of stuff happening over the next couple of months.
Such an exciting couple of months now, because we've got this weekend England's and Britain's women's.
Yep.
Then we've got 2 weeks off. Not off, don't worry, we're not going to disappear. But then
2 weeks till we go to the Giants Live
in Glasgow. And then literally we're home for a few days before we go out to Texas for the Rogue Invitational.
We should have Mitch Hooper coming to stay with us for a little bit.
Yes, he's going to come for a little bit before Scotland and after Scotland, so he doesn't have to travel to Canada in between.
So that'll be good. Get some training in with Mitch.
Yeah.
Then we've got
the World Team Championships.
We've got OSG to look forward to.
Yeah.
Lots of stuff happening.
Yeah, lots going on. Very exciting.
I'm going to try and kind of get around and train with a few of the British athletes that are going to OSG as well. So lots in the pipeline.
Super chat here from Jim will break it. Thank you, Jim. Cheers to my favorite strongman couple. Have you ever thought about where you'd be in life if, heaven forbid, you two never met? Would Big Loz Official exist?
I don't think it. No, well, I say that. Big Loz Official started without Liz. A friend of mine actually kind of suggested that I start a YouTube channel, and he helped me set it up. And it was very sporadic videos at the time, because I literally have no idea how to. I mean, I could upload a video, but editing and that kind of side of things, it's just not my forte. So we started it, and it would have died. It would have just died. But it wasn't really until kind of lockdown that you kind of came on board, and we started to push it. But it's amazing how our life has kind of changed in the last 3 to 4 years. I guess
massively. I don't even want to think about it though, because we wouldn't have our daughter.
What if we were never together? Yeah,
if we never met. Yeah. The sport would be much poorer.
Thank you, though, Jim.
Yes, thank you, Jim.
Appreciate the super chat and the support from all you guys.
Rockers here. Diesel's hungry. Steady State is here. Good evening. Good evening. Talking about the Lions.
Food.
Oh, hip flipping mama. I doubt it, since Liz runs the show and does the filming, writing, editing. Probably not. Loz does have that pretty face. So who's
all the writing and the kind of research and stuff like that. Liz does all the editing. I will 100% say that.
I write the scripts.
I probably come up with more of the better ideas.
Loz comes up with the ideas, but doesn't know how to implement it. Yes,
we feel we're a good team because we have different strengths.
I couldn't do it without you. You could do it with someone else, I guess, but we'd never have that.
It wouldn't be the same.
No.
It wouldn't be the same.
No.
Well, hopefully you guys enjoy us as a team.
Yeah. It's been a while since Toby.
Hope you're doing well, Toby.
Hi, Andrew. We hope you're well. What's chat's thoughts on Thor's return? Because we've made a video about it, haven't we?
Yes, we'll have to talk about that.
Excited. Jamie, thank you so much for the super chat. Was telling my girlfriend I was going to be watching you this evening, and I typed going to be watching Uncle Liz and Auntie Liz. She laughed and then asked if Loz had been through a sex change. Damn autocorrecting, Loz Liz.
I can promise you I've not been through a sex change. Not yet.
You'd be an ugly woman.
I would be a terrible looking woman.
Yeah, the Loz to Liz typo, autocorrect is a real problem, because people send a message and we don't know who it's intended for, do we? Or they'll write a comment and we're like, probably you, but who knows? But thank you very much for the super chat, Jamie.
Thank you, Jamie.
And thank you for joining us. Saying they've missed the lives. Feel bad now.
Jane's in the house. How you doing, Jane? Nicola.
Nicola can't wait to see Thor back in action.
Yeah, what does everyone think of Thor coming back? Obviously, we made a video about that in the week. Someone's, because I think on the front of the video you said, like, can Thor return and dominate or something like that?
Yeah.
Like, the guy was like, oh, Thor's never dominated. Well, I think that's arguable. 2018, he was unbelievable, didn't lose to anyone. He hasn't been outside the top 3 in his last 22 competitions.
Yeah.
And he's 3rd in the all-time list of most competition wins.
Yeah.
The only 2 people ahead of him are Mariusz Pudzianowski and Zydrunas Hibiscus.
Yeah.
So if we talk about like dominant athletes that we, that would be below that, I think it's fair to say Thor is one of the most dominant.
A lot of people also, they look at one competition, World's Strongest Man, and like he wasn't dominant there.
Yeah.
But
well,
you say that
he was on the podium 8 times in a row.
Exactly. Yeah. The only time he wasn't on the podium was the first time he was there.
Let's remember who he was up against in those years. Zydrunas,
Prime Z and Brian, yeah.
Eddie, Lissis, Kiriashkovsky. Some pretty good guys he was up against. Rauno telling us that the
next year Masters record.
Well, you still got the record at the moment, so no need to worry.
Your
and like I said, your rep was much cleaner.
Yes. Cousin Fred, thank you so much for the super chat. Hello, all from Stanton, Texas, where it's hot as hell. Hope your day is going great. Go Lions, beating Atlanta. I hope it's still nice in Texas when we go there in a few weeks' time.
It'll probably be nicer than here.
Oh, it can't be much worse, can it? We've had nothing but rain.
This last week, we had like a sudden, like the kids went back to school and suddenly the weather was really nice. It was
really hot.
Because over the summer, the weather wasn't great in the UK. And then we had like a week of really nice weather as they went back.
And since then, it's been like the monsoon season, hasn't it? It's been very, very wet. New member here in Bino. Do you reckon? Bino?
Thank you very much for becoming a member.
Make sure you check out the exclusive members only videos after this live. Randy.
How you doing, Randy?
Hello. Glad to have you here. Also, Rick. Nice to see you. People
saying hi to Rauno.
What's up, coach? Got y'all going while getting the training in, hoping I don't get beat up by the wife for making it happen on our anniversary. Wow. Happy anniversary to you and your wife. Liz and Loz, demand to get your take. Prime Thor versus Mitch today. Who's better overall? I haven't watched that video yet. Prime Thor versus Mitch today. I would say Thor is better.
Yeah.
Personally. But I think when you think of the stage that Mitch is at in his career, it's still pretty new.
Let's think of how
Mitch has the potential.
Mitch is unbelievable when you think of how short his career is. But Prime Thor, I believe Thor in 2018 is the best strongman we've ever seen. Ever. Period. For that particular year. He was just so unbelievably dominant that he just didn't have a weakness. To maintain that level is extremely hard. And I don't even think we will see Thor get to that level ever again. But I do think Thor can be still very competitive in the sport.
Yeah, don't think he has to be 100% to be incredible and to win titles even.
I think Thor coming back will just make the sport better because it gives another athlete that could potentially win these competitions. So, you look right now, we've got Mitch has done really well this year. Evan Singleton, Brian won competition. Trey Mitchell wins competitions. There's lots of guys that can win. If Alexei Novikov can get back in shape, Tom Stoltman, throw Thor in there as well. It's just another guy that can kind of mix it up and keep the sport interesting and entertaining so that we don't have someone just completely dominating.
Yeah. Here's an interesting question from Bat the Judge. What do you think of Rhiannon's chances at Britain's? She's tiny, but so damn strong.
Rhiannon is awesome. And there's a couple of events she'll do very well, but I don't see any of the lightweight athletes challenging the likes of Lucy or Rebecca. They're just too big. They have too much of an advantage over the smaller athletes. It's a weird system for me, having the lighter weights competing against the heavyweights. I think it's great that they get stuck in and do it, but they are at a huge disadvantage.
Well, we were talking about this the other day, and you would never see it at Britain's Strongest Man, but also at Britain's Strongest Man, we've got the depth of talent in the open weight. So
I think the reason they do it this way is because, it's like you said, we don't have maybe 10 or 12 high-level opens that people know of.
No.
Whereas we do have some great female athletes, the likes of Chloe, the likes of Rhiannon, who have big followings that can kind of put bums on seats.
Yeah.
And sometimes it is about that.
Who people want to see compete.
Yeah. And, I'd love to see the likes of them challenge the bigger athletes on certain events, and they will. There's certain events they're really good at, but I can't see any of them winning the competition.
No, I think, personally, I think mid-pack would be a huge achievement for any of the lightweight athletes. There are 3 lightweight athletes there. Yeah. I think it's just 3, and that's Rhiannon, Kate Connolly, and then Chloe Brennan, who's now a 73, but that's still small.
Like Donna competes in the under 82s now
Donna's
as well.
A weight class athlete as well now, and there might be more, to be honest.
I think there is a couple of others as well.
They're the standout ones, though. It's going to be interesting, though, and I love how they don't care. They'll get stuck in.
I absolutely love that. They just want to be the competitive and do the best that they can. And like I said, there's events that being smaller is not such a disadvantage in. When you look at certain events. But there are events that it's a big disadvantage in when you're going up against the taller, longer levered women that will just handle some of the awkward objects easier.
No, they're not both day shows. Just the men's on the Sunday is a day show. That starts at 12. I think the women starts at 4 p.m. on the Saturday.
I think it's a 4 p.m. open, but 5 p.m. start.
Okay, there you go. So the Saturday is an evening show. Sunday for the men is a day show. David, thank you for the super chat. Hey guys, hope you're well. Can you tell the events for the world's strongest master?
Yeah, so the OSG has the same events across the board. So OSG is the world championships for all the different weight classes and the masters classes. With the open, it's a qualifier to get to the pro shows, basically. But all the classes have the same events, just different weights. The masters competition is starting off with an overhead medley. So it's a barbell clean and press, a dumbbell, a yoke press into a block press. So 4 different objects overhead as quick as possible. There is a deadlift ladder. I believe it's 5 different bars, up to 800 pounds. There is a frame carry into a nickel stone type, dinny stone type walk, sandbag toss. I think it's 6 sandbags over 15 foot as fast as possible, 6 Atlas stones, and the loading. There's a really weird loading event. So, or say loading, it's kind of a medley where we have to carry 2 different types of sandbags into a drag whilst wearing a heavy ruck. So it's like a rucksack type.
It's like a 100-pound rucksack, isn't it?
So I was training that this weekend with my rucksack, and I put some plates in it. I'm hoping the ruck that we use is a bit more stable.
I think
because it was kind of swinging. It was just swinging about like this on my back, and I was like pulled all over the place.
Around,
But the fact that I'm a lot fitter than I used to be, I think, is an advantage in this competition. My strength is still down. It's coming back nicely each week. I'm finding some events I'm feeling really, really confident on. Other events, not so much. Like my deadlift is still way down on what it used to be. There's no way I'm going to challenge someone like Rauno on the deadlift or Jeff.
Finally saying it, Rauno.
Well, you know, if it was Alexa's ball.
Oh, sorry.
I'm trying to kick it away. I think I can be really good. Like, to be honest, I think I will be the favorite on the frame carry into the nickel stone walk. I am finding those so easy right now. I think the fact I've done the Dinny Stone world record, and I'm just getting more and more confident with them all the time. And I used to be exceptionally good at things like farmers walks, and you know, my grip actually, even like though I'm not as strong as I used to be, my grip feels stronger than ever. My fitness feels pretty good, so I'm quite confident on the moving events. Things like throwing is getting better. Stones are okay. So I feel I can be competitive. I don't feel like I'm the favorite for the competition, but I certainly feel I'll be as well prepared as possible. And then, like I always have in any competition, I'll fight as hard as I can and aim to win. That's my goal, is to go there and do the best that I can and try and win.
Jack asking, what was it like backstage with Par and Jamal? I did not see them speak at all. No.
Yeah. It was quite interesting talking to Jamal. He only knew 2 people. Well, 3 people technically. He knew who we were, and he knew who Rob Kearney was.
Wow.
Yeah. He didn't know anyone else.
It was really funny. He came and sat with us for dinner the evening before, and got chatting to him. And I'm nosy, so I ask people questions. I want them to feel comfortable and welcome. I'm like, oh, do you follow much Strongman? He's like, no. He's like, I watch your channel on Rob Kearney, but other than that, I don't know who anyone is. And we're like, wow. So, but honestly,
he was really nice.
Such a lovely guy.
Lovely guy.
Really
amazing deadlifts. I mean, he pulled 430, missed out on the 1,000 pounds.
Yeah.
But he was going no suit, standard deadlift. I think he did amazing.
Yeah. And just a really nice guy as well. Yeah. And by the sounds of it, he's very keen to come back next year and get that 1,000 pounds. Kelly asking about a bruise on my hand. No, that is not a bruise. That is a stamp. Because today we went to an arcade, where you get stamped on your way in, and then
I'm a bit hairier, so mine doesn't kind of show up as much.
So I did try and give it a little scrub, but it's surprisingly strong. The ink. We got a members comment here from Will. I'm 2 months from Masters Nationals. Wish me luck.
Best of luck, Will.
Lots of luck to you, Will. Elizabeth asking how your training's going.
Training's going well. Like I keep telling myself I can't go arm wrestling, and then I get drawn into going to arm wrestling. And the reason I can't go arm wrestling is because after arm wrestling, my elbows are sore for a few days, so it affects my training. And I keep telling myself not to go, and then I keep thinking, oh, I'll just go to arm
He
wrestling.
says he gets drawn into arm wrestling. He misses it so much.
I do.
He's
I
like,
really, really
I'm
love
just
it.
going to go this one time,
And
and then
actually,
he comes back.
I'm getting a lot better at arm wrestling now, so it's even more fun.
Yeah.
But I'm going to have to. I might be able to go like on a deload week or something like that. But for the most part, like, I would have gone tonight, but I decided no. I've got to have. I'm hoping a couple of my training partners are going for some big deadlifts tomorrow, so I want to try and push them and have a good session. So I was like, right, no arm wrestling this week.
Yeah.
But yeah, as it gets closer and closer to OSG, I won't go to arm wrestling at all. As much as I love it, sometimes you just got to pick what's more important. At the moment, OSG is more important.
Yeah. Nicola sad she cannot make OSG now because she's had too many holidays this year and only 4 days leave left. That's not
never a bad thing if you've had lots of holidays.
Yeah, it's good that you've had a nice amount of time off, but that's a shame you can't come, Nicola. Hopefully next year.
Thank you, Toby. I'm glad you're enjoying your Sunday nights. Hope your body's starting to feel a bit better as well, mate.
Wow, what have you done?
He's just hurt his small injury, but he's working around it and still training really hard.
Yeah. Brian with his members chat, a full back recovery from my back surgery. You guys, congratulations, Brian. I know. I can't remember when he had the surgery now, but he was literally laid up. He was like, finally another video. It's like, you know what it's like though when you just want something to. You're just consuming content because there's nothing else for you to do. It really sucks.
Good to see you up and about and doing well, Brian.
Oh, is Bobby Thompson doing America's Strongest Man, Lozo?
We're training for it. Yeah. His focus is the Rogue Invitational, but obviously he is the current champion and he wants to defend the title. So
is it after Rogue?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
that's better though, I think. Yeah. You can see how he feels after Rogue, can't he? Levi's here. Hello, Levi. Where are we? Remember when asking for a pic, either ask Loz or Liz will never hear you. She's deaf in one ear and can't hear out the other. Thank you, Fred. It was funny. Andrew's like, is someone calling you? I was like, I don't know. Fred just saw the no, but what he'd actually asked me is, can I have a photo of you, Liz? And he thought I'd said no. So, very embarrassing.
Oh, look at this one. I didn't even know about this.
Thoughts on Matt Rhodes saying, because you're on Giants Live payroll, you're unable to give unbiased opinions. Loz isn't on Giants Live's payroll, are you?
I'm not on anyone's payroll, and I'm pretty honest about every comp, whether I get on with the people involved or not. I've been to every single type of competition run by every single type of promotion or promoter, so I can give quite a detailed rundown on how shows are done.
Colin and Darren would tell you as well. We in the athletes meeting, we're the worst ones for saying things and challenging them and asking questions.
If you ask Colin and Darren, I'm a pain in the ass at times.
Yeah.
Because I'm quite vocal, maybe more so in person than I am on camera. That's because I want the sport to be better, and they understand that. So, they want me to challenge things. I'm not going to come online and just bitch about things, because that's not the way you get things changed. And I've said many times with World's Strongest Man and other promotions, like, there's no competition that's got things perfect. Not one single competition has things perfect. But my goal is not to belittle the sport. It's to bring the sport up, whether it's Giants Live, Brian Shaw's comps, Rogue Invitational, Arnold's, World's Strongest Man. Doesn't matter to me. I want it all to get bigger and better. So don't know where that comment came from.
Maybe you should stick to arm wrestling.
But I don't care either.
No. Rauno is elephant bar record next. He would have to go to the Arnold's to do that, wouldn't he?
Wouldn't have to, but
wow, I guess he could buy an elephant bar.
Well, no, there's other. It's not.
Do other competitions use it?
It's been done at the Rogue Invitational before.
Well, one of them then.
It's been done as part of the Rogue Record Breakers as well.
Yes, that's true. Ron Chop saying there is almost zero chance that Thor comes back as Prime Thor.
Yeah, I can't see him coming back to his absolute best, but I can see him still being very competitive.
Steady State, thank you for the super chat. If Kyriakos Grizzly curated the World's Strongest Man events last minute as a surprise to all, which event Strongman would adapt and win World's Strongest Man, aka the Grizzly Classic?
Ooh.
Which current Strongman would adapt and win the But they're such weird movements, aren't they? Like
I think Dimitar.
Dimitar, yeah, maybe.
I could see Dimitar
doing
the,
really well on
yeah.
those types of movements and lifts. Yeah, there you go. Maybe Dimitar. That's quite a funny one, though. Can you imagine? Nicola, I think Lucy will win on Saturday. But yeah, worried as she's had COVID. Yeah.
Yeah. And like Lucy and Rebecca are my favourites for the comp, but Rebecca's had a bit of a rough time the last few weeks.
Rebecca's
and Lucy's kind of, not been feeling great. So who knows? Andrea's coming back from injury. Right now, Andrea's not at her best, but she's got a couple of good events. Donna's been training really hard. Someone to look out for is Katie Smith. She just came third at the OSG Europe. She's really improving all the time. There's a lot of good athletes doing it. So, it's always interesting when you've got these little stories. I had a conversation with someone the other day, one of my clients actually, because she sometimes thinks too much about herself. And I mean this in the best way, because we all do it. We all kind of get engrossed in our own, what's going on in our own lives. And we forget that every single other athlete is probably going through something similar. It's very easy for athletes to just sit there and make excuses, say, oh, my training wasn't perfect. Oh, I had an argument with my other half, or I didn't sleep well, or I've picked up a little niggle, or whatever. But everyone does that.
Yeah.
It's like something I kind of talk about all the time. All you can do as an athlete is get yourself to the comp and fight as hard as you can. And that's why when I see athletes sometimes post that they've got an injury or something else, I don't make a big deal about it.
No.
A lot of athletes do on YouTube. They're like, oh, I tore my quad or something like that. 9 times out of 10, it's a really minor injury that they've had, and they've tried to make it a lot more dramatic. But there's other athletes out there that have these injuries as well and just never say anything.
Keep it really quiet. Yeah, they don't want people to
There's
know,
people like we both know that hates it when people find out that he's got an issue going on.
Yeah.
Don't
tell him. Yeah.
So it's just something as an athlete, you have to prepare as well as you can. You have to go and fight as hard as you can. Understand that everyone else is human. They're going to have issues. There's so many examples I can give you from my own personal experience and other people as well. So just focus on bringing the best you can to the competition, and then fighting as hard as you can for every single point. Don't think you've always got to be 100%.
David members chat here. We know you will crush OSG, Loz. Sorry, Rauno.
Damn right.
Let's not forget as well, JF Caron is doing it this year.
Jerry Pritchett is doing it.
Yeah.
Ken McClelland is doing it. There's a whole host of amazing up and coming. Like, I know it sounds silly, but like a lot of the masters are up and coming because they haven't had that, big senior career. Yeah. But they're fresher in the sport. They don't have as many injuries and they're still improving. Yeah. Whereas guys like me, Rauno, Jerry Pritchett, etc., we've kind of battered. We've been doing it for such a long time. We've got a lot of injuries.
But so good as well, though.
Battered, but still dangerous. Yes, that's how I like to kind of.
And it's exciting because Dana Segaris' competition is happening in October. JF and Rauno are both doing that. And then
in November, we've got the Magnus v. Magnuson Classic. When's the 10th, is it something like that?
I can't remember the exact date, but so
find out for
a good couple of opportunities.
10th to the 12th of November is the Magnus v. Magnuson Classic. We're going to have Magnus on talking to us about that.
Oh, what fun! Love a bit of a chat with Magnus. Magnus can talk. Hopefully, see you guys in Glasgow. Yes, you 100% will, Robert. Really looking forward to it. Lovely venue up in Glasgow.
Glasgow's brilliant. Last year we loved it up there. Yeah.
And the lineup, I'm excited about the lineup. Hey, Monica's here. Speaking of Magnus, I made it a little bit late, but here. Nice.
Hope you're doing well, here. Monica.
Loss is fair. You only have to see the shade he gives Rob Kearney, and Rob is one of his friends.
Yep.
No one is exempt.
Rauno's my friend. Liz will tell you, I'm the hardest on myself.
Yeah.
I'm brutal to myself. Like, it's quite funny. People think, oh, I'm being me. I'm not. I'm just honest about what, Rauno had a go at me for what I said about Rob Kearney at the Cardiff comp. And then he came and apologized because I was right.
Yeah, Rauno's got strong opinions, but he admits when he was wrong.
Yeah.
What a lovely pic of you. And Liz Maggie heard that. Good. He knows. Maggie, like after a competition, Maggie finds me. And we always, actually, we haven't done it in a little while, but we always used to sit down and have a long, long chat, didn't we? And everyone else had buggered off. Like, what's happened? No, I do like Magnus, bless her. Oh, I've lost where we were.
You
now.
were down a bit.
Was I down?
Yeah.
There we go. Where are we? 414 watching, only 113 likes.
Make sure you go and like the video, guys. It does help us out so much.
Yeah. OSG Masters is the comp of the year. All the old greats back together again.
It's going to be good. It is going to be good. I'm looking forward to it.
Dennis's comp is stacked. Do you know if it will be streamed? I don't think it will. Do you know what? I was asking Rano a few weeks back, when is this competition? He's like, October. And I was like, damn, if it had been another time, I would have loved to go, but it's literally right bang in the middle of everything else we've got going on. And I could have just filmed it if he didn't have any sort of, anything else planned for it. But I don't believe there is a live stream, unfortunately. So, but we'll try and bring you guys, we should be able to bring you updates quite quickly because we've got lots of friends doing it.
I'll speak to Dennis and ask him about it.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure he'd like to get it out there if it is being streamed.
Yes. Paris with the caps. When do we find out Rogue Invitational events? Glad you're back.
I'm not sure when they're announcing them.
They'll announce one at a time over the course of a little bit of time.
Unfortunately, we can't announce what the events are. The athletes do know. So the athletes are training. They don't know specifics, but they know the events. But we can't announce until they allow us to. So we have to respect that. Hope you guys can as well. Yes. But I'm sure if you go and watch some of the athletes, you'll kind of figure out what they're starting to train for.
Things together, yeah.
But there's a couple of events I'm quite excited to see.
Yeah.
One in particular.
Yes. Sounds like you're due a long chat at Doncaster. Oh, I'm sure we will have a long old chat. Put the world to rights. Rob, members chat. Hey, coach, Jack aim for podium or gain experience?
In my opinion, for the Englands, there's two people I would say are probably the heavy favourites for first and second in
Luke and Kane.
Luke Richardson and Kane Francis. I think they're the two most established in shape. Well, I say in shape. Obviously, Luke's coming back from a number of injuries, but Luke in shape is a tremendous strongman. Kane has been very, very solid. He's got great experience competing. I'm expecting a big performance from him.
Well, yeah.
I actually think after that, we could see a real battle between a number of athletes.
I'd expect Paul Smith to do well.
Yes, Paul's going to do well, but honestly, you just don't know. I mean, Paul's coming off a bad result at Glen Ross's England's recently. Couple of events that he did badly at in that competition are in this competition as well. Plus, Power Stairs is in this, which hasn't been a good event for Paul in the past. So looking at the events, I don't think they're the best set of events for Paul. I think Paddy Haynes could do extremely well. I think Jack can do very well on the log and the yoke. Some of the other events aren't so good for him. So he's going to have like real damage control on some of the other events, I think, if he wants to try and get on the podium. But if he can potentially win the yoke and the log, which is possible, could give him enough points to really kind of, sometimes just having that great result, it just raises your other events as well. But I can't see past those top two. I mean, Mark Felix has a lot of very good events, but he has one extremely bad event as well. It's an interesting one. It really is.
Is this going to be Luke Richardson's first competition since Worlds 21, is it? 21. And even then, he only did a couple of events, didn't he? So I wonder how, because that's a long time.
Nerves could get to him, definitely. Just that kind of, little voice in the back of your head. But I feel if he comes in relaxed, doesn't try and feel like he's got to just dominate and win everything. Just focus on being solid on every event.
Wind,
I think he'll be absolutely fine.
Is tacky allowed, but not gloves? To be fair, tacky's only allowed on one event, isn't it?
Normally just Atlas Stones.
Just Atlas Stones. Are gloves not allowed?
Gloves are allowed on some events. I mean, you wouldn't really want gloves on Atlas Stones because they would slip too much. They can be effective on some events. But gloves, there's a lot that can go wrong with gloves as well. So most athletes don't choose them. The only time I've seen people wearing gloves really are on like a rope, so pulling a rope, sometimes on sandbag carries as well.
I saw it on the Norse Hammer as well, 2015
Yeah.
Worlds. And I remember, do you remember Josh Thigpen?
Threw them in the bin.
Well, he had these gloves and he's like, guys, I've got these sort of rubbery gloves if anyone wants them. And a couple of people were like, yeah. And literally everyone who wore them. So Josh wore them, fainted halfway through one of the hammers. Someone else wore them and got injured.
Yeah.
And when he got them back, he was like, these gloves are cursed. And he pinned them, didn't he? Got really funny over these gloves.
Jane agrees with you. Kane for first.
Wow, you know.
Kane's a great... What I love about Kane is he's someone, you know, when I talk about just fighting in a competition, just get yourself to the comp and fighting. That's what Kane does.
Yeah.
He's a great strongman.
Kane's fun to watch.
Kane's one of those guys that could, you know, might not win an event, but he's always picking up points.
Exactly. Angus with the members chat. Does Gav win today? Does Gav's win today qualify him for Britain's?
Yes, it does. But Gav, in my mind, had already qualified for Britain's because he was second last year at Britain's. So I'm pretty sure that would have qualified him anyway.
And he got on the podium at the World Open as well.
Well, that qualifies him for Worlds.
It does. But I like, you'd think it would qualify you for Britain's as well.
Yeah, Gav's clearly the number one in Wales. Yeah. You know, there's no question about it. Yeah,
and to be Britain's, you need a Welshman, don't you? So yeah. There's no way Gav's not getting invited. What have we got? We need a company to live stream all events, amateur and pro. There are like companies like that.
There's a company called ADL, which are doing a great job live streaming lots of competitions, mainly in the States, but not just the States. They have come over to the UK for a few events.
They did the Chaos, didn't they?
And they're even looking at kind of remote commentary. I actually commentated an event for one of their competitions recently, just testing out if it's feasible to do sort of remote commentary. But ADL are trying to do a lot to kind of bridge that gap.
Yeah. Kane has an amazing deep voice. Watch out for your commentating jobs, Loz, says Nicola. He's got a real gravelly voice, hasn't he?
It's the cigarettes that he smokes.
Does he smoke? Yeah. I thought maybe it was because he was a firefighter. Like, smoke. But I guess it is smoke, isn't it? Deary me. I have ADL in my favorites. Yeah, ADL are great. And they're very receptive to the feedback as well, which is very important. I think too many people like, no, this is how I want to do it. And but ADL really actually seek that feedback all the time.
Yeah, I think there is a couple of others.
My goodness, I don't want to hear myself, does it? But they ask all the time, you know, what did you think? What about the visuals? What about this? So really receptive and a very nice couple that run the company there. Andrew, hello from Dallas. If everyone's fit and healthy, Britain's 24 could be crazy stacked. Yeah, 100% agree, Matty, especially if, you know, both the Stoltman brothers do it. Then we've got, you know, Graham. I forgot Graham's name.
So right now, both Stoltmans are down to do it, I believe. Hicksey's down to do it. Bish is the current champion. Gav is qualified now. We'd expect Parr to be invited. Even though there's the debate about whether Parr should be
not actually British.
And then, you know, there's going to be a number of people qualify from England's Strongest Man. So it's going to be interesting.
It is going to be interesting. It's going to be a good lineup.
It is.
Really good.
Yeah.
Luna, thank you so much for the super chat. Early days, but I look forward to a Thor versus Tom battle. They seem very similar. We're both being genetic freaks at 6'9", both masters of Atlas stones.
I would love to see those two on stones.
Yes,
that would be a battle that would be worth watching, definitely.
Because they've competed against each other 4 times. Thor won all 4, but that was before Tom had really started to peak. So very different athlete in Tom now compared to how he was then. But also Thor's going to be different now compared to how he was then, presumably. So
well, he will. He's coming back from an injury, which kind of plays on your mind. He's, you know, it's different when you've had that time off. I still believe he's going to be very competitive. He's a competitive man. I don't see Thor just coming back just to make up numbers. You know, if he comes, he's going to want to win. And can he get back to his absolute best? Probably not.
Does he need to get back to his absolute best?
That's the thing.
It's an interesting question.
He doesn't. Like, he could get back to 90% and still be very competitive.
Yeah.
Which I believe he's going to do. But it'll then come down to what events are in the competition, what shape people are in, you know, and it just kind of enhances the comps, I think. Be interesting to see what he chooses to do. I'd love to see him just compete in everything. I don't see that happening, but
no, I don't either. But I would like to see him in everything as well. Different types of competitions. Number 1 is Singleton is now top 5 in the world. Second, how insufferable will he be at Rogue with fireworks behind him? I am so excited to see Evan outside of a giant cycle world's strongest man. Like genuinely so excited to see him at a Rogue competition because it's just cool. Like he's totally earned it as well. I'm really happy for Evan. Like
Evans had a great year this year.
5th at Worlds was he?
Yes.
Like really incredible year compared to last year. Last year was a bad year for Evan, like really bad.
Yeah.
So can't wait to see him because Rogue and the Arnolds, they do have very, very good lineups, don't they?
Yeah.
All the way from top to bottom. They're great lineups. So yeah, excited for Evan. But Evan's always insufferable. No, he's not really. He's actually really nice.
Colin Wilson said, "Will Thor get injured again now?" We could say that about every single athlete. Strongman's dangerous.
Everyone, yeah.
Thor's gone through. Well, he's 34 now, been competing over 10 years and had very few injuries. He's doing well. Every single athlete gets injured at times. Strongman's dangerous. Footballers get injured. Tennis players get injured. If you are a pro in any sport, there is a risk of getting injured. So it's not even something worth thinking about. It's part of what we do. Athletes understand that. Anyone that kind of is scared to get injured, don't get into pro sports, because if you're going to push to that limit, then it's not for you.
Especially pro sports like strongman. Jesus.
Yeah, but any pro sport, you look at the top level athletes in many, many sports, they are dangerous. And for the most part, Thor's not got injured. I always thought him chasing the powerlifting all-time record was extremely dangerous.
Yes.
Because
we were surprised, weren't we?
Especially the speed he was trying to do it at. But Thor can do strongman much safer than he could chasing the all-time world powerlifting record.
Nicola here saying Evan was such a sweetheart at the Shore Classic. He stood and took photos with everyone who queued for him for more than 2 hours. He is great like that, isn't he? He's genuinely he's great with the kids as well. He do all the silly poses and he loves it. Yeah. He is good, really. Just don't put a camera on him. That's when he turns into a dick. Oh, where did that flip down to? Have you guys talked about the surprise big name comp in Latvia soon? Are you referring to JF Caron, Big Bang Theory? Because yes, we have, if that's who you're referring to. That must be who he's talking about, because that's the Latvia competition, isn't it?
Yeah. Dennis's comp. Yeah,
JF must be the name. Let us know.
But I don't know if he means name or the comp, because there's a lot of good names doing it.
There is a lot of,
I don't think he's on about the
surprise
name.
Big name comp.
I think it's just because it's not like a well-known comp.
Oh, maybe. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Maybe. I might be wrong, but that's what I'm
kind of
taking.
Now I'm confused. I think Lucy Underdown could get to 350 kilos.
Maybe one day. I don't see her pulling that just yet, but I do see her capable of around 325.
James here, Liz and Loz. Any interest in seeing the max squat return to the Arnolds?
Do you know what? It was great seeing JF do so well on that, but from a commentating point of view and a fan spectator point of view, it was just way too slow and boring. Yeah, it just took ages with the knee wrapping and the kind of time between. It wasn't the most entertaining.
There's so many people, unless you're literally dead on facing it as well. There's so many people around you during a squat that you can't actually see it as an in-person spectator. You have to look up.
I've always enjoyed a squat as an athlete, but I did find it a little bit just slow. If I'm honest, it was great when you see it, eventually see a big lift. But yeah, I think it took about 3.5 hours to get through that one event.
Yeah, it was long. Yeah, Big Bang Theory did mean the comp because he didn't know the name of it. Yeah. Like Dennis has done a great job getting
he's got some weird events together in there.
Yeah,
he's got some very interesting events, but he's trying to put together a big show. I know he's got some big names in it as well, so we'll try and get Dennis to send some information over, and maybe we can kind of update you guys on all the details.
And Ivers and Rauno did some training together last weekend specifically for this competition. They're both going to be in it.
I think Bish is doing it, isn't he?
Is Bish doing it?
Pretty sure Bish is down to do it. JF's down to do it. Ivers, Rauno.
Is Pablo doing it again? He did it last year.
Don't know.
Kudiaka.
Don't know.
I haven't really seen an updated list actually. As a strongman, is it better to focus on the deadlift over the squat?
Yes. Yeah, there's a lot of strong men that can't squat. It's just to be honest, even with the squat, it's better to work on squat for reps than a squat for max. Having leg strength endurance is more beneficial to you when you look across the various different events. You need strong legs in strongman, but you need them for more endurance than just a one-off lift.
Yeah. Detective work. They're meant to have a lot of people around for spotting. I know, and that's the problem. Like with a deadlift, you don't need spotters, so it can just be the person and the weight, and everyone can see.
Yeah, visually, deadlift looks a lot better because it's just you and the bar. Whereas having like a bench press.
First off, they're in a machine to begin with, and then you've got 4 or 5 people stood around them. So it does make
you need people around you to keep you safe. But from a visual point of view, it's just not as good to watch.
Well, there you go. Paul Smith is doing it as well.
There you go.
We're going to find out if there's any sort of stream. We don't believe there is, unfortunately.
We just don't know. We don't know.
No. Thanks, Loz. Another reason to skip leg day.
I didn't say skip leg day. I just said the squats weren't as important.
Yeah. What do you consider the best test of max leg power? Heavy squat for reps, like 2019 World's Strongest Man, or Brian Shaw's leg press?
What do I consider the best test of leg power?
Max leg power.
Neither. There's too many variables on both. From limb length to positioning on the machines to technique. They're both tests of strength, but I don't think one is superior to the other.
Here we go. We've got the full lineup. So it's Kevin Ferris, JF Karan, Rauno Hainler, Mantas Lalas, that's the youngest Lalas brother. Didsis, can you say his name? Didsis Zarens, Ivor Schmuxlis, Paul Smith, Adam Roskowski, Marius Kopekia. Oh God, I'm butchering these. Andres Dillons, Maris. Help me.
I can't even see, babe. It's so small.
Pablo Cordiaca is doing it. There we go. What does that
Crivellis.
Say? There you go. And Maris Crivellis. There we are. So, yeah.
It's a good lineup.
It's a really good lineup. Yeah, so not Adam Bishop.
A couple of names I don't know, but...
some Latvian guys that we wouldn't have heard of. But good to see how they compare to the likes of Ivers and JF, Rauno, Kevin, Pablo. It's a good lineup. It's good. Look forward to watching it.
Yeah, we talk about like leg strength. Like the reason I kind of say endurance is more important for strongman is if you think of like a truck pull, if you think of yokes, farmers walks, all these kind of like type of carrying movements, even the squats in strongman tend to be more repetition based. That strength endurance just is more important than that 1 rep max power in terms of strongman. But it's always good when you can do everything. That's when you're the best, when you can have no weaknesses.
I can't even see, babe. It's so small. I've heard that before.
Good job I was saying that and not you.
Duck walk is the best leg strength test.
Duck walk is terrible if you have big legs.
Maggie says the squat is way more of a test of leg strength than the leg press. Leg press is a gym gimmick. That's because Maggie was a great squatter.
He was. Magnus had some good leg strength.
Yeah, he did. Researching. I feel like Loz would agree too. Nearly 2 years as a member. Wow, that went quick. Bless you, Nicola.
Thank you, Nicola.
Yes, thank you. And we're happy to have you. And Rob, thank you so much for gifting memberships. Lozzie, hold the fort a second.
You're off.
I'm off.
She's just leaving like done. That. Yeah, like I'm someone that loves squatting for reps, or I used to. Don't love squatting at all anymore. But yeah, I used to. I'm probably better at squatting for reps than I am for a 1 rep max. I've never actually trained for an all-out 1 rep max. I've done some, pretty comfortable heavy singles before, but probably the best set of squats I ever did was 252 kilos for 20 reps in the gym. That was brutal. And like 12 reps, absolutely fine. And then every rep after 12 just becomes so much harder. But I like seeing all forms of leg strength test. I think that's why I like strongman more than powerlifting. Powerlifting is about specializing in 3 lifts, whereas in strongman you have to be able to adapt to so many variations, not just in terms of events, but variations within that individual event. Even like a deadlift, an 18-inch deadlift is different to a deadlift from the floor. An elephant bar deadlift is different again, and I can show you examples of why it's different in terms of results. It's why I don't compare sumo to a conventional deadlift. I just see them as different lifts. They're, amazing to see a 500 kilo sumo, amazing to see a 500 kilo conventional, but don't compare the two because they're not the same lift. Do you believe Thor can come back? I've had a few questions about Thor coming back. Yes, absolutely. I believe Thor can come back. He's a freak of nature. He's only 34 years old. And other than his pec tear, he's not had too many injuries. Pec tear isn't really a huge issue for a strongman. So I 100% think Thor can come back to strongman and do very well. Tore my hamstring off on duck walk. Worst strongman event ever. I 100% agree with you. It is a terrible event. I'm sorry to hear that you tore your hamstring off doing it. I never had anything more than some nasty bruises on the inside of my quads, but I absolutely hate it. And I'm not terrible at it. It's not like I'm terrible at it and think it's a crap event. It's just a crap event. It's as simple as that. I actually beat Tom Stoltman on it once in a competition. And I still think it's bad. James Riley, the Arnold's just totally messed up running the max squat compared with Sheffield. More lifters covered in less time, still decent viewing. Yeah, I guess Sheffield was a powerlifting competition. They kind of probably understood how to get through the squat a little bit quicker. I do like watching squats, but that squat for max at the Arnold's it wasn't that entertaining for me. As much as I do love to see a huge squat. Car roll, yes, Nicola. The car roll is an awesome event. That is a cool event to see. It's again dangerous. You need some good kind of safety procedures in to make sure athletes aren't getting kind of crushed or anything like that. But it is a cool event to watch. Just seeing strong guys flip a car, it looks cool. It's one of my favorite events that I've done. To be able to say you flipped a car is pretty cool. Pulling an aeroplane, flipping a car, they're two cool things. When people say, what can you lift? Most people go, I bench press this. I'm like, I pulled an aeroplane, flipped a car. That's pretty cool.
That is cool. I flipped a tire once.
Yeah. Yeah, much prefer the variety of strongman. Makes each comp slightly different. Powerlifting gets a little repetitive for me. I totally agree. Now, I'm a fan of powerlifting, but in terms of a competitor, strongman is just much more appealing to me. It's much more fun. Although I like various different tests of, I enjoy benching, I enjoy deadlifting, I enjoy squatting. I like that we can just challenge ourselves in so many ways in strongman.
A powerlifting meet, a full meet, oh my God, it's hard going as well, isn't it? Like, I don't mind watching some highlights where something awesome happened, but actually go into a full powerlifting meet with every single flight. It's hard to follow as well, isn't it? Because you don't know what someone's done or what they're aiming for. It's quite a personal thing, isn't it, powerlifting?
Yeah. Does Loz get paid for doing the live commentary at Giants Live? I do get paid for doing the commentary.
So you are on the payroll?
Well, I'm not on the payroll. I'm what's the word?
I guess you get contracted every so often. But same as Rogue, though.
Yeah, like I do with Rogue, like I do with the Arnolds, like I do with anyone else that I've worked with. It's not like I'm on their books on like the salary.
No.
It's
no retainers.
No. But yes, I do get paid for doing the commentary. What would you suggest as a substitute for someone that can't use a squat bar due to shoulder mobility problems and doesn't have access to a safety squat bar? Really good option is a hip belt squat. That's something that you can get fairly cheap and is very, very good for getting the legs strong. You can get hip belt squat machines. You don't need one. You just need like a harness around your waist and then attach it to a pin with some weights on. That works really well. There are multiple different machines that are good for leg training if you have access to them in a gym. But there's always ways to work around like options if you can't do something. After that 20 rep set, You were looking in such good shape. So cool. The Achilles injury robbed you of a great final. World's strongest man. Thank you, buddy. Yeah, I felt pretty strong. My leg strength then was ridiculous. Unfortunately, some of the other aspects of strongman weren't so good. My fitness wasn't good at the time. I was too big and not in a good way.
Paris is an unfortunate typo. It usually autocorrects the other way around, doesn't it? We know what you mean, though. Thank you.
Murderball.
Wasim, thank you so much for the super chat. For what it's worth, the squat for Max at the Arnold's was my favorite event. Had the most views on Rogue's YouTube channel for events at the Arnold's that year and looked just fine visually on the stream.
I think when it's cut down into an edited version, it is good.
Yeah.
And you know, seeing some of the big lifts was cool, but seeing everyone kind of, you know, what was frustrating for me is half the strongmen didn't even know how to wrap their knees.
Yeah, you were finding that bit painful to watch.
Yeah. But yeah, when you see, you know, Rob Kearney come out and smash a big squat or JF Caron, then it's cool.
Yeah, and we're glad they did it. Like, we really wanted to see it, and it's not something we see often enough, is it? A max squat. But yeah, it's not something I'd necessarily want to see.
See, a max squat would work well at Worlds where we're not watching live, because it can be edited and then you can kind of watch it at Christmas absolutely fine.
Yeah.
So, you know, and if they could speed it up some way, that would be better as well.
Yeah, have one wrapping while one's going. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, it's simple stuff that you do at lower level comps, to be honest.
Yeah, but I think they wanted the drama of it, didn't they? They tried it, and what have we got? Alejandro, thank you for the super chat. Good call on Thor. He would have never gotten the record without pain or injury. Dan Bell hurt about every disc on his back.
You go for those numbers. This is what I'm saying with powerlifting. All you can do is try and kind of improve the number, especially like everyone's about records in powerlifting, whereas in strongman, it's about winning. So you don't always need to be better. And a lot of people don't understand this. But you don't have to always be stronger at every comp. You need to understand how to be competitive and win, which is very different. Because if you're going for records, you're hit or miss. You might get it, you might not. And if you don't, you're going to bomb completely and not score anything. And we see this a lot when people kind of bomb on their squat or bomb on their first attempt. They've gone in so heavy. Whereas in strongman, it's foolish to do that, because if you get a 0, you get 0 points. Go in and get like a comfortable opener, put some points on the board and then build on that. And then you can kind of be a bit risky on your last attempt, or, you know, you push. It depends how the strongman comp is run. But points are more important than records. Certainly for me as an athlete, I cared more about winning than breaking records. That's not to say you don't enjoy breaking records, but the record for me was a secondary to the winning. Whereas in powerlifting, you think of how many people all they're trying to do is improve their PBs every time they do it. So you're pushing and pushing and pushing. And if you don't break that record, it's like, oh, it was pointless. Whereas in strongman, you can still fight. Even if you're a rep down on maybe what you could have got on one event, your fitness might be better in another event. So your speed can be better, or your grip might be better. You know, some things will go up and other things will kind of come down. But with the variety that we have in events, I see it more as like a challenge in terms of like a fight, or a sport, like a football match or something. You can't think about just being better all the time, but you've got to try and win. So it's trying to kind of figure out the best way for you to put that performance in across the whole competition and get as many points as you can on the board. Just like a fighter trying to outwit their opponent or outscore points or kind of knock them out. It's more than just, I've just got to hit this number and you know, that's all that I care about.
Very comprehensive, Lazo. I remember when I was there, your harness gave you issues at the track pool as well at World's Strongest Man. What happened there? Do you remember? I remember it well.
Yeah.
The weather turned. So he had his harness on and he was ready to go. Then he was told, no, hold on. We're going to hold off. It's about to rain. You were out of the harness. Then it was, quick, get the harness back on him. And they put it on way too tight. Yeah,
put it on way too tight. So it was kind of like pressing right under my rib cage into my diaphragm. And when I kind of went into position to pull, the kind of bit of material across here kind of pulled straight into me, and I panicked. I literally couldn't breathe, and it freaked me out. And I just
you were purple.
Yeah, I literally kind of just couldn't breathe, because as soon as I tried to apply any power, rather than having it lower, like, so usually the strap should be on your shoulder and the bit that goes across your waist should be around your waist. But the bit that goes across the waist was kind of digging right into my diaphragm, and I just could not breathe, and I freaked out, and the rest of the comp went terribly.
After that, so do you remember I sort of half carried you out back, and then you're on oxygen for ages, weren't you? Yeah, and
literally I went purple, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. Yeah, and
because normally I was a very good truck puller, but that was just a really bad performance. But a bit of it was my own mistake, because the professional guys like Brian have their own harness.
He wouldn't have been rushed either.
He wouldn't have been rushed, but they have their own harness. Whereas I was using the one provided. They have 3. So the one I got measured up on wasn't the same one I got given. And it was in the wrong position. It was I take responsibility for it as an athlete, but I think, now I would tell my athletes to take their own harness, learning from my mistakes.
Yeah. That Castle Water advert would say during every whisk competition. I don't remember because we were there. We didn't watch the adverts, did we?
I know the advert they mean.
Yeah. Terry Holland, you're in pain every day. It's true, isn't it?
As a strong man.
Yeah.
as a pro athlete, look at us, many of them.
Yeah. How come Kaz wasn't at the World Open?
I think Kaz has got some health issues at the moment, and he's just taking a break, trying to sort himself out.
Yeah. Would love to see another Talking Strongman with Dale and Dan again. It's been a while, hasn't it?
It has been a while. I spoke to them the other day about maybe sorting something out, so we will look into it.
There's a couple of Talking Strongman competitions you have to do, Lozzie, because we've had some really good new people come on the scene since, the series kind of ended, didn't it? So that would be good. Shall we wrap then? We've been on for an hour. It's school night. Yeah.
No, it's been lovely to be chatting again to you guys.
To catch up with you all. So we're not sure about next Sunday because we're
at Doncaster. Yeah.
For England's Strongest Man, and then, but possibly Monday. Yeah.
Just answer this one.
There we go.
If you go back in time and coach yourself, assuming it doesn't impact your learning, how much better do you think you could have done? I think I could have been World's Strongest Man. Genuinely. I don't think I was the best, but I think I could have. I came 4th at Worlds, and I think I could have done better. And the reason I think I could have done better is I think I could have been more selective about what competitions that I did. And there was a couple of World's Strongest Man competitions, 2012 in particular, where I didn't get to compete in it, but the events were very good in the final for me. And I was doing very well throughout that year. I certainly believe I could have gone on the podium. 100% believe I could have ended up on the podium, and maybe won a few other shows as well. But I'm not one of those people for ifs and buts. Obviously, like you said, I learned a lot from the mistakes that I made, and it's allowed me to be a better coach than, I would say I got some better results as my career went on, even though I maybe wasn't at my best. Because I'll always say I believe I was at my best. No, I was at my best in 2012.
Yeah.
Before I injured my shoulder.
But then 2016, you got your best results.
Yeah, 2017, I had some really good results as well. So even though I don't believe I was necessarily at my best then in terms of prime, I think I understood how to win better.
Yeah.
So there's always kind of, you always look back at ifs and buts, but they don't matter. You can only kind of deal with the cards that you're dealt. And I did okay.
You did okay. Timely reminder before we go from Rick, for all new members, don't forget to check out the members extras. We do have lots of members only videos.
If you guys are going to Doncaster, we will see you there next weekend. Should be really good. Make sure you're supporting the up and coming men and all of the women as well.
Yes, we will also see you guys in Glasgow. Very excited for that, and in Texas for the road.
Yes, if any of you are in Texas, we look forward to that.
Lots coming out.
Have a great week, guys. Thank you for joining us. We'll speak to you soon.
Smile and wave.